What's up guys? We're back again to break down the 5 best players in the world's favorite decks. These are the decks that they use to finish top 5 in the world on the last day of the season, crushing the competition and destroying all the other professional players. These are some of the strongest decks in the game when played well, so let's test them out for ourselves and see if we can assert dominance. A huge thanks to everyone that's using creator code SirTag to support the channel. Bill the Star used this new meta Mega Knight deck to finish number 5 in the world. I haven't seen anything like this in a long time, so let's go jump right into a game and see how strong it actually is. So this new meta Mega Knight deck is the exact thing that Phil used to finish number 5 in the world. Pretty cool stuff because, I mean, to be honest, I haven't seen Ramrider played in forever. And I can't even make it work in most of my decks. So maybe, you know, if I use this new meta strategy, I'll be able to pop off and secure some more dominant dubs. I don't think the balloon even gets a hit there. So as you guys can see, Ramrider full counters balloon still, even after the assortment of nerfs. The one thing that I would change in the deck is if you don't have Mighty Miner, you could run Mini P.E.K.K.A. or Prince for a lot of damage on the ground. Or you could use Inferno Dragon, which is basically a Mighty Miner that flies without the ability. But either of those work pretty well. We're going to Royale Ghost in left-hand lane because our opponent's dropping Lava Hound. We can't necessarily counter that effectively. Maybe if he drops something on top, we can use the Mighty Miner ability and bounce the Inferno Dragon away. So this is going to be hilarious because I think that the Royale Ghost is going to force out even more elixir here. Like, he can't just go Inferno Dragon. Or I guess he did. He lost almost all of his tower, though. So I don't know if that was the right choice on our opponent's end. I'm going to Barbarian Barrel here, and then I'm going to Electro Wizard. The reason why I go for an Electro Wizard there is because it's going to be able to stop the Inferno Dragon, and it's also going to be able to defend for a bit, and I can get back to poison. Wow, this deck is incredibly clutch on defense. Despite our opponent having so many different things that he could spam into me, I think we're going to be fine. Maybe I'm not fine. Maybe I'll have to click the Mighty Miner ability. Maybe, you know, I can't defend this, actually. So I'll go for Mighty Miner on offense, and then he doesn't have Barbarians in cycle, so he'll probably go for, like, Skeleton Dragons or Inferno Dragon. He goes in for Skeleton Dragons. We click the ability. We go to the other side, and I wonder what he's going to do here. Is he going to Inferno Dragon last second? He's going to lose his entire tower to a Mighty Miner. Oh, he's got Zap. I didn't think he had it. I didn't think he had the juice. In either situation, it doesn't matter because we Royal Ghost at the river, force out the Barbarians, and then he's going to go Barbarians into the side where he's, like, the 3 crown is, so that doesn't necessarily matter. And if you go for an Inferno Dragon on top of the Mega Knight, we can Electro Wizard. So there's a lot of different things at my disposal here. There's so many different possibilities. And I think we're going to explore every single avenue. Like, I'm going to Mega Knight in the right-hand side. I'm going to expect him to Inferno Dragon because that's what he has in his card cycle. And if we Electro Wizard on that, I mean, he's going to Fireball because he has Fireball in cycle. So I'm going to wait for him to Fireball the Mother Witch. And wait, it's targeting the little piggy instead. That's so sick. I'm definitely going to be able to take tower here. And then I can poison on defense. And then I can click the Mighty Miner ability again, maybe? I don't know. No, the Mighty Miner is going to die for sure, but it's still fine. It's still alive. I love how offensive this deck is. Like, the fact that I'm able to pull off these amount of plays is really ridiculous. I know I can poison here. With the poison coming down, he's going to lose all the Lava Pups. And the Electro Wizard's going to stay alive just long enough for me to go for another Electro Wizard. You can never escape the E-Wiz cycle here. My goodness. I can go in for a Ramrider as well, and the Inferno Dragon's going to go towards the middle, so it's going to lock onto this tower, unfortunately. You always have to understand, like, what's going to happen with units. Otherwise, if you don't know the pathing, you're going to get surprised, and you're going to lose really badly. Ramrider connects to the tower. We walk away with a win. As you guys can see, even against pretty good players that have Lava Hound when you're running Mighty Miner and Mega Knight, Mighty Miner is so good against Lava Hound. Opponents will have a finite amount of ground answers, and if they're using air cards, they're likely just going to take a ton of damage to the Mighty Miner bomb. You can bait out the Barbarians with the Mighty Miner, and then your Ramrider, Royale Ghost, and Mega Knight will just be able to power through and take tower. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is Mighty Miner is the best champion in the game. And after our first win of the day, now we're 8,400 in the world. Riley earned his spot at number 4 in the world using the best log bait deck in the game. So first things first, I just want to go Goblin Barrel off to the side, and maybe he's going to go for Tornado with it, not activate King Tower. That's what we're hoping for. All right, whenever I see bats, I'm expecting our opponent to end up having some really aggressive deck. All right, it's going to be Lava Hound. So whenever you're running Mighty Miner with no great Lava Hound answers, no Inferno Tower, you got to play super aggressive in the other side. If you want to play this deck without Mighty Miner, you want to be running Valkyrie, and then you're going to have Inferno Tower instead of Cannon, so you will have much better defenses. This is one of those few matchups that is extremely tough to win, but if you play it perfect, you can beat it. So I'm going to go in for Skeletons here, probably with a Fire Spirit. He's going to Fireball. Pretty interesting play, to be honest. Usually what you can do is you can go for a Fire Spirit before the nerf, and the Fire Spirit cleans up all the pups, but it doesn't one-shot the pups anymore. They're still alive, and they require one more tower hit. There's just something to keep in mind in case you guys haven't thought of that already. Fire Spirit is not a save all anymore against Lava Hound Miner decks. All right, so he's going to Skeleton Army. I could have made a prediction with the Princess. That would have been really nice. But now with the Skeleton Army out of cycle, I can go for a Goblin Barrel in front and be okay. I think I have to respond to this. At least the Princess is going to stay alive, so then it can also kill the Lumberjack as well. This is likely going to be Lava Clone. So it's not even going to be like a deck that I thought it was. I thought it was going to be like Lava Miner, but he's whipping out the Clone now, so he's evolved. He's going to have Flying Machine in cycle, so I expect him to do that any second. So I'm going to go in for a Baby Dragon counter here. And then I can click the ability, and then I can go in for a Fire Spirit, and then I think that we're able to counter it. No. That would have been so nice. That would have been too clean for me, guys. I might have to cannon here, which is really, really uncomfortable, but it's the only good decision that I could make. If I did anything else, I'd take an entire Flying Machine straight to the face, and I can't do that. He might expect me to go for a pre-log, so I don't think that's the right decision. I'm just going to go Goblin Barrel here to try to keep him at a low elixir count, and I'm going to immediately go for Skeletons, and I'm going to go for Mighty Miner on the left. I could pre-log on the Skeleton Army if it's here. It's just pretty risky as well. So I'm going to log it afterward, and then all the Skeletons are gone, and the Mighty Miner goes directly towards tower, then he Lumberjacks, and the Lumberjack is, you know, it's not going to die to the Mighty Miner, unfortunately, if I go and click the ability. So I can't do that. I'm going to Fire Spirit with a Goblin Barrel on the right-hand side and make sure that the Fire Spirit's tanking, so that's going to give us a lot of damage. And try to stack up as many Princesses as possible here. I'm a Mighty Miner on the other side. I'm hoping that the Baby Dragon goes in front of the Lava Hound, so then I can just kill it with a Fire Spirit, so I don't have to spend as much elixir. And then I can click the ability here. I can go for a Goblin Barrel in front. I can pre-log. I'm hoping that I can just stack up a lot of Princesses here. And if I log on top of that, then that's a vibe. I can Fire Spirit afterward. This is so tough to defend, guys. This is really, really stressing my mechanics. And it's not easy to commentate and play this at the same time, I'll be honest with you. I need to go for a Goblin Barrel here. I need to use the Mighty Miner ability at the perfect time, so I'm going to try to click it now. He's going to all-in me. I think that the Goblins are able to take the tower, and I barely win the game. My goodness. So a couple things that I wasn't able to talk about while I was playing. This deck, really good at the highest level. If you master it, Riley was 1 win away from being #1 in the world. So you can be the best player in the game if you play this deck correctly. And even matchups like Lava Hound, Flying Machine with Clone, when you literally only have Princess as your anti-air and you have Cannon as your ground defense, if you want a much easier way of beating Lava Hound decks, you run Electro Spirit instead of Fire Spirit, you run Inferno Tower instead of Cannon, and Valkyrie instead of Mighty Miner. Or you can do what B-Rad does and run Inferno Tower instead of Cannon and still run the Mighty Miner version. So after that win, let's see where that puts us in the world. We're chilling at 6,800 in the world, and you gotta love Logbait because you can outplay anything. Mohammed Light always finishes in the top 5 in the world, and this time he used this Archer Queen Miner control deck to finish #3. All right, so jumping into the action with the deck that Mohammed Light used to finish #3 in the world. So this deck is really, really good at top ladder where everyone's running Cannon or running Mortar, because Earthquake is able to eviscerate it for a really good trade. But if you're playing it at lower ladder, you should probably be running Fireball, and you can also run Goblin Drill instead of Miner for more damage. But at the highest level, as I said before, Mohammed Light just decided to use this because it gives him a matchup advantage against all the cycle decks that are running Cannon and Mortar, which is like literally like 75% of the meta at top ladder. And it's also pretty good against a graveyard player too, because you can use the Earthquake on defense. Allowing your giant skeleton to break through is incredibly nauseous. Like, if your opponent's going to go in for a building and then you go in for your Earthquake and you're like, yo, you're trying to get value here, it's not going to happen. It's fun. Anyway, the reason why I didn't go in for the ability is probably pretty obvious to a lot of you guys. If I chose to click the ability there and then the Valkyrie is able to swirl around and damage down the giant skeleton and the Archer Queen, even if it's invisible, it's still getting hit because that Valkyrie is hitting my giant skeleton. So you guys got to be a little bit careful when you're playing Archer Queen. If you want to substitute the Archer Queen out in this deck, you would run Musketeer instead. And that works really well. I think that Musketeer is pretty much a 1-for-1 sub for Archer Queen. Maybe slightly worse because you don't get that rapid fire ability, but Musketeer is still a really good card. And you can cycle multiple of them on the field, so it will be a better matchup for you against Lava Hound players because you're able to cycle so many Musketeers and stack them up, make your opponent a bit annoyed. I don't think the Giant Skeleton's going to lock on a tower, but it's all good. Can a lot of damage to the Miner in the same time, and then I can go for Skeletons off to the side. It's basically Miner control with an aggressive beatdown version of like Giant Skeleton plus Archer Queen. That's how the deck works. Giant Skeleton is literally a beatdown card. So I'm going to wait a couple seconds, then I'm going to go for an Earthquake. The main thing that I see like casual players mess up with their Earthquake is they drop the Earthquake too early. When the graveyard shows up on the tower, it doesn't immediately spawn Skeletons. So you want to make sure that you're dropping your Earthquake when the Skeletons start to spawn, so just wait like 1 or 2 seconds. Anyway, this guy's going to go in for a P.E.K.K.A and he misses it. That's always a vibe. You can Archer Queen in the back and then just stack up so many miners and double and triple elixir because it allows you to cycle multiple miners on the field since you have a 3-card cycle. So I'm going to Ice Spirit here. He's going to arrows. That's fine. I miner. And then I go skeletons, and now he doesn't have arrows in cycle, so he's just going to go in for another graveyard. We cycle back to another Archer Queen. It kills everything. The miner's on the tower, and he just does not get a good trade at all. He's in a bad spot. He ended up dropping a ton of elixir there. I should have Ice Spirited, so that was a lot of skeleton damage. I was too captivated by my commentary, guys. Sometimes that does happen. It'd be how it be. I'm going to miner to pull back the Inferno Dragon. He's probably going to P.E.K.K.A on top of the Archer Queen, so I want to go and click the Archer Queen ability. Oh, that's a Valkyrie. That was really good on his end. But maybe we can finesse our way through. If I go in for an Earthquake and have the Giant Skeleton lock onto the tower, that's game. You know, it's a control deck until the Giant Skeleton just goes out of control and wins you the game. That's how this deck is played. Giant Skeleton beatdown with a little bit of touch and sizzle of miner control. It's a recipe for disaster for every opponent. Morden dominated the best players in Clash Royale with this Mighty Miner Goblin Drill deck. All right, so jumping into the game here, this is definitely the most difficult deck of the day. I do not know how Morton played this well to finish number 2 in the world. If you have Mighty Miner and Goblin Drill, I guess you have a lot of aggression, but at the same time, I feel like you have more flimsy defense. With skeletons and a fast cycle of Riley's log bait, I feel like you can get bailed out of bad plays a lot more efficiently. But when you're running a deck with Spear Goblins and Bats and Fire Spirit, it's not necessarily as quick. So you got to be way more comfortable with your decision making. I'm going to go for a cannon here. He's going to log. I don't think that that's going to be able to clean up my Mighty Miner and cannon, so I'm in a pretty okay spot. I'm also going to consistently go in for more Goblin Drills here. I'm going to Fire Spirit, since if he goes Archer Queen ability and he goes and drops his Archer Queen, the Fire Spirit's going to tank so then the Bats don't immediately get ransacked. Also, is he going to eat the entirety of the Goblin Drill? What is he doing? That guy is one wild child. So it does show you a stark dichotomy between the miner control deck that we were running last game where, you know, we got 500 damage sometimes. Goblin Drill takes half of the freaking tower. So as difficult as this deck may be, if you're not accustomed to it, it is way better if you play it perfectly. So Mohammed Light's deck is maybe just like, hey, players aren't going to mess up that often. They're not going to give me that many opportunities. I'm going to earn my damage. This is one of those decks that's like, hey, my opponent messes up. They're going to feel the ramifications immediately. Also, the fact that the Goblin Drill is going in when our opponent doesn't have Valkyrie and it's not near the Tesla is definitely annoying him because he had to go in for the log while the Goblin Drill was in range, so he couldn't log early, so he didn't get a good trade there. He's likely going to go in for an Expo on the right-hand side, so I'm going to cycle my Bats there and just wait for him to potentially do that. If not, then it's all good. I'm just going to cycle my Bats anyway and, you know, prevent him from being able to do that. I can maybe go in for a Fireball, Log, and Goblin Drill, and that will be able to kill the Archer Queen. I think that might have activated King Tower. Maybe I'm a meme. I think I'm a bit of a meme, but it doesn't matter, right? If I Fireball here and then the bomb kills the Archer Queen, like, it doesn't matter, right? Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. I'm going to go in for a Bats here so then we can tank for the Tesla, and I'm going to go in for Spear Goblins as well. So then the cannon will stay alive and it will definitely kill the Expo if I can get a Mighty Miner down. So I'm just going to click the ability since the Mighty Miner, I wanted to tank for the Goblin Drill. We know he's going to defend it anyway. Might as well just get more damage. This is one of those decks that if your opponent is ever on defense, they were guaranteed to take damage. And we just ended him. He's just spamming good game and the yawning emoji because there's nothing he could do there. GG, well played and peace out, dude. Good luck in the rest of your ladder session, but I mean, if you play against a Mighty Miner deck that actually plays well, there's no way for you to win. I actually whiffed and I let the Expo connect, but we'll just say it's completely calculated. It's a blatant assertion of dominance. Even with the Expo connecting, he still had a long way to win that game. The coolest interaction in that game was when I went for a Goblin Drill and a Fireball to kill the Archer Queen. You can do that using the Goblin Drill spawn damage with a Log and a Fireball, and your opponent will think that the Archer Queen stays alive, and if that's their only answer, they just get ended in double and triple elixir. And the #1 player in the world, Ian77, chose to use this Hog Rider Earthquake deck. All right, let's get this bread. So we're playing Ian's favorite deck right now, rushing through the Hog Rider. One of the best win conditions of all time. It has been so solid no matter what deck you're playing against. And it's frustrating for opponents for sure. I'm going to log here. I'm going to go and click the ability and I'm going to go in for skeletons. And I think we kill it all. I think Archer Queen just be that strong. It's beautiful to be able to shut that down and then still have the Archer Queen at relatively high health and then being able to click the ability again on your opponent's side of the map. And this is why the card is really, really unfair in a lot of situations. Yo, the ghosts are going to ghost each other. Let's go, baby. So I want to go Giant Skeleton. I don't think I'm able to push it completely off. It is what it is. Like, I think I should have just, you know, had the Giant Skeleton off to the side. It's fine. It doesn't matter that much. I think we're playing against another, you know, P.E.K.K.A deck, Bridge Spam hero. And if we're playing against Bridge Spam and we've got Cannon, we've got Giant Skeleton, we have Archer Queen, we have an abundance of answers to his Bridge Spam to shut it down instantly. So I'm going to Cannon. I could have Hog Ridered actually. You know what? I think Cannoning is way better because it should lock on to the Magic Archer and then I can Skeletons here. The Magic Archer dies. He loses the P.E.K.K.A. The Cannon pulls the Battle Ram too. Oh my gosh. These cycle cards need a nerf. That's insane. Are you kidding me? Like, you can't tell me that's fair. I just killed his entire push. I have an Archer Queen counter pushing. He doesn't have Elixir for a P.E.K.K.A. He has to Electro Wizard on this, and he's going to lose it to the Archer Queen. He's going to lose his mind because he's about to go for an E-Wiz right on top of an Ice Spirit. The Archer Queen's going to kill it, and then I think I even get another... No, I don't get another hit. That would have been absolute misery for our opponent if that happened. We would have, like, had to go march to Supercell's headquarters and tell them that that would need a nerf then. But... one thing's for sure, Ian did win #1 in the world for his last game 100% based off of his Archer Queen. He did 1,500 damage, winning him the game right then and there to Lucas, and Lucas was so upset. So if you want to run this deck at the highest level, definitely run Archer Queen. It's broken. It's not fair. If you want to run this deck at a lower level and maybe you don't have every card maxed out, definitely start running a version with Musketeer. It's pretty much a 1-for-1 trade. It's just not as good, you know? You feel me there? Anyway, we're going to pop the ability so then the Royal Ghost is going to lock onto the wrong thing. And then we can kind of use our beatdown push shenanigans of running 2 Giant Skeletons. Because, you know, good cards kind of exist out here in Clash Royale and hasn't been nerfed yet. I'm going to follow up with an Earthquake because I'm up so much Elixir. We're going to knock back all this stuff and run a beatdown push. This isn't Hog Rider control. This is Giant Skeleton spam. And yeah, it's not that fair for opponents. Anything that they defend the Hog Rider with also goes into the bomb, so then it dies. And then I've just been on offense the entire game. I've literally just thrown Hog Riders at my opponent. If you guys didn't know, you can go in for a log plus Earthquake and fully counter. And then they can't do anything. Like, the Magic Archer just dies. I can Hog Rider again here, go in for an Earthquake and a log. I'm going to go log first since it will disrupt the P.E.K.K.A hit. And it will disrupt the E-Wiz, so I guarantee that I win the game. Super easy stuff. Earthquake didn't even do anything there because guess what? He doesn't have a building, but it's so good against other cards like Zappies and Magic Archer that it will still give you value. And after that win, we are sitting pretty at 4,300 in the world. Like, subscribe for more daily videos, and have an amazing rest of your day.